A series win. Can you believe it? For the New York Mets, who end up in Pennsylvania at the Little League Classic with a victory. You're watching Mets Daily. I'm your host, Jake Brown, at Jake Brown Live on all socials. Make sure you smash that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button below right here on Mets Daily as we're over 2,000 subscribers. Keep it going. Next goal, 3,000. You can scan that code right there to become a Mets Daily Insider. For just $5 a month, we will be giving away a lucky winner tickets, field level tickets to a Mets game during the week coming up. Likely either the Mets Philly series or Mets Padres. But you have to be a member. You got to scan that code. You also get a weekly watch party, an exclusive weekly weekend video, custom emojis in the chat. So become a member, cheaper than a cup of coffee, and you can be field level for a Mets game this year. July 27th against the Giants. That's the last time the Mets won a series. Well, Sunday they said, you know what? I think we're overdue. We're like a library book that's due in 2007 that you still haven't returned. The Mets were very overdue for a series win. They get the job done. And, a good all-around effort. Finally, starting pitching. Clay Holmes, who his bugaboo is the fourth inning. He struggled in the fourth. Now, he didn't get help from Francisco Lindor, who 9 times out of 10 makes that catch. Now, a lot of people are like, you have to make that play. You have to make. It wasn't the easiest play ever. Like, it was certainly should be an error, but it wasn't like a can of corn to Lindor. I don't know why he used two hands. Should have just caught it with one hand. I don't know why do you need the second hand. But that didn't help. Otherwise, Clay Holmes, great. 5 innings. At this point, 5 is a plus for him. I think we're hitting a point we've talked about in here where Clay Holmes has got to be a 3-inning pitcher. He was great for the first 3, tailed off in the fourth. So I think what he is a 3-inning guy right now, and then you got to piggyback. Whether it's with Montas, McGill pitched a gem in his second rehab outing, 9 strikeouts over 3 1/3. So McGill was striking out everyone in rehab. He's on his way probably here in the next week or two. So I wouldn't mind a Holmes McGill piggyback situation where maybe Clay goes 3 and McGill goes 3, and then you go to the bullpen, or Clay 3, McGill 2. I don't think that's a bad idea if the Mets ended up going that route. But the offense broke out on Sunday. They needed that. A big day from Lindor, who had 3 hits. Mark Vientos with the big day, the home run, 3-run homer, 4 RBI day. Vientos saying to Mendy, hey, play me, brother. Mark Vientos barely played this week, and I think that might have been a message Sunday like, hey, I'm here. I'm trying to get back to my ways of 2024, but you got to put me in the lineup. So that's going to be fascinating here because I think Beatty's been hitting pretty well. Ronnie has not been. Ronnie has been the odd man out who has not been hitting. So what do the Mets do with the Beatty, Vientos, Mauricio situation? Because they got so many of these infielders. A couple of them aren't really hitting. I think Mauricio has probably the most potential when it comes to his bat out there. So, tough decisions here for Carlos Mendoza, but a good performance for one of the little leaguers. You saw Soto walk 3 times and do the shuffle. Maybe he's shuffling his way to try to get the Mets to the playoffs. They have a 1.5 game lead. They got some help from the Brewers. Not all the help, but they did get some help. They're still, 5 back of the Phillies. So, you can't really think about the division right now. We'll think about the division next week when the Mets play the Phillies for 3 games at Citi Field. That's a series, if you sweep that, you're back in it. But right now, you got to eye the wild card. You got to eye the Reds. That's the team that's chasing you. It's the Mets, Reds for that 3rd wild card spot. And really just think about that, because don't even think about the Mets, who are 3 back of the 2nd wild card. Don't think about the Cubs, you're 4.5 back of that. Think about holding off the Reds and just getting in. The good thing is everyone else is regressing. The Cardinals have lost 5 in a row. They are 5.5 back. The Giants are 6 back. Diamondback 6.5, Marlins 7. So it's really the Reds you'll be scoreboard watching. They start a series today against the Angels. The Mets are off. You almost wish they were winning 2 in a row. You'd hope they win and keep going, but they're off, and then they get the Nationals. You have got to take care of business against the Nationals. You have winnable games on the schedule here. 3 Nationals, 3 Braves, then the tough series of the Phillies for 3, then the Marlins at home for 4. So you have 10 of your next 13 are against sub-500 teams. During that stretch, over 13 games, you really would love to go 9-4 here. You'd love to go 9-4 and get back, in the division conversation and just get back to winning baseball conversation. So good start to beat the Mariners. We'll talk about Saturday's game. I was there in a little bit and what happened, but a good series win after a brutal game Friday where, again, they blew it. And, you want to take a silver lining with all these Mets struggles here, guys, is the fact that they are in every game, it feels like. Well, they've been blowing a lot. They've been having a lot of leads they're blowing. But the thing is, they are winning games. Now it's about closing them out. Because, yes, this revamped bullpen has struggled. Helsley has struggled. He got a scoreless outing on Sunday, thank God. But, they're in these games. And I think if there's a positive to take now that we can take a positive since they won 2 in a row, is that they're in position to win games. Now it's about closing them out. And they did that on Saturday. They did that on Sunday. Unfortunately, the negative coming from this series is Sunday. Another Francisco Alvarez injury. I mean, this guy was just starting to feel it too. You felt it. And listen, we don't know the extent yet. We're recording this at 12:25 p.m. Eastern on Monday. So we don't know the extent. We know he's undergoing an MRI on that thumb. So if you missed it, he doubled a 3-hit day. Big day for Alvarez on Sunday in Williamsport, PA. But he pulled up lame on his thumb, sliding headfirst into second base, and that's the issue with those headfirst slides. Now he was safe, but he was holding his thumb. They took him out. They put Torrens in. This is a guy who's had multiple hand injuries. I mean, it's just unbelievable how every year it seems to be the same kind of injury. It's the right thumb. Remember, he went on the IL earlier this year with the left hamate fracture. So he's dealt with that. He underwent surgery on his left thumb last season. So he's a catcher that continues to have thumb injury. This one wasn't catching, but it was sliding in a second. So that's big for the Mets because here's the issue. Yeah, Luis Torrens, but we saw Torrens every day. He couldn't hit. And Alvarez has been hitting. And they need every bat they can in this lineup that has struggled for this team. So let's hope this MRI is okay. But I don't have a good feeling about it. Mendoza didn't really have anything positive. He wasn't sure what it was. But with his history of hand and thumb injuries, you're not thinking good. You're starting to think IL trip, and you're starting to think, as cool of a story Hayden Sanger is, Hayden Sanger's not hitting in the minor league, let alone the major leagues. So you're going to have to ride Luis Torrens. And, at this point, I looked up the market for just what free agent catchers are out there. You can maybe get an Austin Nola, a veteran journeyman backup who's out on the market. Michael Perez, who the Mets used to have. He's out there in the world somewhere. So if you're thinking about what guy can we get that's on the scrap heap, those are the names that came to mind to me. 36, 37-year-old Austin Nola and Michael Perez. But there's not much out there. Obviously, you can't make a trade. You got to hope someone gets DFA'd or cut. But you might be stuck with calling Sanger back up, which is not good for a team fighting for the playoffs. Sanger was fun in games in April and May. You're about to be in September. And if the Mets have to be without Alvarez, they're going to have to hope Torrens' bat gets going. We know he's incredible defensively. He could throw everyone out. But they got to hope Torrens' bat gets going because Alvarez' bat was hot, and you're just praying he avoids an IL trip. You know what was hot on Saturday? The weather was, but so was Nolan McLean. Man, make it McLean. Make it rain McLean. 8 strikeouts in his debut. An absolute gem at a packed Citi Field. I mean, when you see me sitting in the upper level, you know it's a packed house. I was up top with the diehards, sweating my ass off in the promenade with the sweat towel on top of my head. If you saw a guy with a towel on his head that's bald, it probably was me. It was hot. And so was Noel McLean. And is there anyone oozing with swagger more? I mean, he puts my chains to shame. The guy's got ice around his neck. He makes an unbelievable bases loaded, 1 out, double play behind the back. Throw to second and then turn to first to end the third inning, and then gets out of jams, had some command problems here and there, but otherwise 8 Ks, 5 1/3. You can't ask for much more from Nolan McLean, who is 100% getting another start. And again, we don't know what the innings limits, what they'll do with him, but this was such an encouraging sign, and it really made you think, guys, where the hell was he 6 weeks ago? Where was Nolan McLean beginning of July? McLean should have been here a long time ago. Yes, it's better late than never. That's the good thing. I just pray that they keep going to him, and I hope there's no innings limit. They say, F it. We're in a playoff hunt. He gives us the best chance to win every 5 days. We're not going back to Montas. We're not going back to McGill. We're not going to Blackburn. Keep throwing the kid out there. Next in line, like I mentioned, McGill, rehab looked good. You still have Blackburn. You DFA'd him, but I'm sure he'll clear waivers and maybe be back. I thought everyone was excited to see Blackburn get DFA'd, but maybe he's not back. You're not going back to Montas in the rotation. Maybe it's Sproat. Jonah Tong, 9 strikeouts, shutout ball in his AAA debut. 5 2/3, 3 hits, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts in his first start in AAA. Another name you keep an eye on September. Can the Mets get a Tong? Can they get a Sproat? Will they be up here to help this team out? Because you can use every great arm you can. And we'll see how they configure it because there's not enough spots on the roster. You'll get 2 extra spots. You figure one's Acuna maybe, and one goes to either Tong or Sproat. But not a bad problem for the Mets to have here. But fantastic debut for Noah McLean. Let us know what you thought in the comments. We met a fun couple from Alaska at the game on Saturday. Was cool, so shout out to them. I think the Lynch family, they were from Alaska. They had number 12 Alaska jerseys on. Wasn't Lindor, it said Alaska on the back. So that was pretty cool. Against Seattle, they're Seahawks fans, rooting for the Mets. Guy was from Jersey originally, so that was fun to see. We got fans all over the globe. And shout out to Hank Azaria. Hank Azaria we ran into, who said that he saw my show the other day. He watched the show. I don't know if it was a social clip that blew up that he saw or he actually watched Mets Daily, but you never know who's watching, folks. So shout out to you, Hank Azaria, a guy that I've interviewed, over the phone, a guy I interviewed in person at the Hank Azaria Jeff McNeil charity poker event last year. Really nice guy. We're hoping to have him on the show. He said he'd love to come on, so we're going to hopefully make Hank Azaria happen at some point before the end of the regular season, guys, or at some point this year. So you never know who's watching. Thanks to Hank, and thanks to all of you for subscribing, for watching. Smash that thumbs up. Scan that if you want to win free tickets to a field level tickets, great seats to a Mets game this season. Become a member for $5 a month. And follow me at Jake Brown Live, and follow us on Twitter at Mets Daily Show. And share this, everybody. Share the video, share the channel. Encourage any Met fan you know to subscribe to Mets Daily. We'll be back tomorrow. Mets Nationals, big series. Got to beat these winnable teams on the schedule because the schedule in September is an absolute gauntlet. But the Mets took care of one gauntlet team, a hot Mariners team. Let's keep it rolling. Enjoy the off day, everybody. Let's go Mets. The playoff push continues. We'll talk to you tomorrow, everyone.